Welcome to TradersPost for office hours on March 4th, 2025. I'm Tom Hartman, market manager here at TradersPost, alongside the rest of the marketing team. We got Trevor, we got Peter. It is a marketing takeover show. Sorry, Mike. Sorry, John. Kick you to the curb. We don't need you here anymore. We're taking over TradersPost. That escalated pretty quickly.
I did.
Turns out mutiny is in my heart, and I feel it. Well, it's been fun. A fun week. Last week was, the big thing was Trump deciding to add cryptocurrency to the U.S. government, and that completely changed my whole week and changed everything I was going to do. And we saw that in the questions that we got over the last week, where people were not more about like, "Hey, what's this crypto thing? Maybe if the government's going to be buying crypto, maybe now we should do automated crypto trading." So I'm hoping to see a tick up in those numbers at one of the next quarterly meetings. That being said, I thought it might be nice to just there hasn't been like a huge influx of novel questions over the last week, so I thought it might be nice for us to touch on a little bit some conversations that have been happening on Reddit. There's posts on there I like to peek into just to see how people feel about the idea of automated trading. So we'll touch on that. But before we start with that, I figured we'll just go ahead and just answer a couple of questions that came in this week. We'll start off with this interesting one. So here, someone was asking, is it possible to execute naive strategies, like place a market buy order of one SPY every day at market open? And silly me, when I answered this person originally, I went ahead and said, well, no, of course not. You're going to have to program all that on your own. We're not in the business of providing strategies to people, and this is something you're going to have to learn PineScript in order to do. And then I remembered, nope, we actually made exactly this tool on one of the Blueprint episodes for TradersPost. So I'm sure Trevor and Peter, you guys like watch every single episode of Blueprint that comes out. This is going to be old hat to you, but I figured I'd just pull it up over here for people who don't know. If you go to youtube.com/TradersPost, you'll be able to see a bunch of walkthroughs of how one might set up different things within TradersPost. So down here, there is one for DCA bot. Where are you? We have a DCA bot here somewhere. And if you go through, so over here, this video, you'll get a walkthrough of how you can actually set up a PineScript in order to buy at a certain time every day or every week or every month or whatever time period that you like. But we also have here the link to the script, and you can just go ahead, click on this, add this as a favorite to your TradingView, and toss it onto TradingView. And once you do, you'll be able to go in and add an option to trade at the same time every day. So I'll pat myself in the back because I felt pretty good that I did that.
You remember that episode existed, or you did it in the first place?
Well, I did give the wrong information to the user. I will admit that, but I quickly corrected it by saying, no, I'm actually pretty cool, and I made this for you instead.
Wait, you said you're pretty cool?
I said something to that effect. You'll be surprised once I tell people, because sometimes I answer people in the support, and they'll ask something that you need to know how to code in PineScript in order to do. And I'll always say, look, it's not really our job to do that. That's not our purview. That's not our service. But if you'll send me your script, I'll go ahead and take a look and see what I can do. And I get the exclamation points and the emojis and the hearts everywhere. Come on, I'm not immune. I'm only a man. How can I prevent myself from doing that?
It's pretty amazing how in the last year with all the AI, the ChatGPTs and clouds of the world. I remember a year ago with asking ChatGPT to just create an indicator, and it was just this feedback loop of errors. You'd say error, oh yeah, no, totally, I should have wrote it this way, and then you do it and it errors another way, and then oh yeah, no, I got to do it this way, and it would do the first error. It was just, what are we even doing? Now right. It's pretty incredible. And I found feeding it documentation, even with TradersPost, if someone was like, hey, I really want to learn something, like you could feed it documentation from a platform that you're trying to learn, and it'll suck it all in, and instead of just counting on it to read through the internet or know PineScript or whatever in general, I was like, hey, look at this web page, and fed the entire thing in, and they're like, oh, now I know how to do this. And pretty crazy. So for the tinkerers out there that love the idea of testing their own strategies but want to, develop a strategy, ChatGPT Cloud, pretty incredible for taking an idea from something in your brain to actually executing through trading.
Yeah, to piggyback on that, I gotta say, so I also had this GPT that I put in the entire TradesPost documentation, because
Nice.
when I started, I was also clueless, like the rest of you guys watching, and I wanted to know, okay, am I saying these things properly? And it was very, very helpful.
Was that like your interview hack? You fed in all the documentation. So, what do you think about Jason? You're like, oh yeah, totally.
Oh, my interview hack with TradesPost is just to lie. I just lied about everything.
Oh, that's the old age.
The old age. I'm old school.
Hey, Mike. Hey, John.
But there is a if you've never used the Cursor app, the Cursor AI app, it's basically this interface that coders would use in order to develop. But you don't have to be like too scared of it if you're willing to. I mean, if you're in the TradesPost community, you're not too afraid of trying a new type of software. So if you download a Cursor and then you save as a web page, or even pass as a web page all our documentation to it, and then examples of Pine scripts that have been written before, what have you, not only will it could go ahead and actually create that script for you, you can fine tune it. You can like just go, hey, this part didn't work, and can you explain this part? And you can actually build out something that works really well. In fact, you could take all our scripts that we've published privately. You can go through our YouTube videos and grab those links, toss that in there, and it'll have like our way of going about it. Plus, we comment all the code as much as is reasonable, so that the AI will also understand, hey, this section of 5 lines, this is what this does. This function, this is what this does, and it'll show up again and again and again. And as I say that, I feel a anxiety attack as my own job slowly dwindles away.
Emojis are
That's
running
me
out.
every day.
Emojis are running out.
I got a question for you, Trevor. In your world, because when I meet people, very few people have heard about AI, use it to any significant degree. In your world, are people using it?
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, until my mom uses it, I can't say that everyone's using it. But when I explain it to people, I'm just like, man, are you, when people are looking for jobs or just looking to get better at skills and trying to figure out where they should be putting their time, I'm like, did you put this through GPT? And they're like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I'm like, just think of it as the smartest person that you could ever know. And you're just even asking it questions. And with TradersPost and with the languages that you're trying to master in order to make all this stuff work, as a first go, I'll be driving in the car sometimes and I'll just think of something and spit it out, and I'll be, oh my God, I'm inspired to come home. So to answer your question, everyone's not talking about using GPT, but for the type of people that are trying to make automated strategies or trying to figure out as much as they can without bothering us or bothering Reddit or one of those forums, you can get a lot. I mean, you can figure out a lot just by asking it a question. Hey, this isn't working. This JSON formula is not working, and it'll very easily go, oh, this is formulated wrong.
Absolutely. You can even take screenshots and put it
that's
into.
I will screenshot a Google sheet for formula and just go, I want this, that, and it'll just spit back the thing. And I'm like, great, I shouldn't have to worry about my brain with that. But yeah, uploading screenshots, searching the internet, it's pretty incredible.
I want to encourage anybody, just before Tom speaks, Trevor, you mentioned a year ago you used it. It wasn't up to par. I think if anybody's watching this and you only tried ChatGPT or anything like that a year ago, you got to get back to it now. The advancements are incredible, and they're going to keep getting more and more incredible. And if you don't like OpenAI because of Sam Altman or something, there's Grok 3, there's Claude Code just came out. There's amazing solutions out there. And until you start experimenting and trying these things out, you won't really even know where AI fits in your day-to-day. Every single day, I ask myself, how can I use AI in order to make my life a little easier? And even me, I surprise myself. Oh, I haven't thought about doing that. Oh, I didn't even think about doing that. ChatGPT has ChatGPT tasks where it will do things for you kind of on its own. and I was checking every day. I was checking on Amazon for the price of this thing I wanted to buy for my partner, and for it to go on special. And I gave it a task to check. Like every day, I would be checking Amazon, checking this price. I'm like, well, why am I doing this? I put it into ChatGPT task. Every day at 5 a.m., it sends me a message. Oh, it's not on discount. It's not on discount. Oh, there it is. And it saved me like $300 on the thing I wanted to buy.
Crazy.
You got to start asking questions. How can I use AI in everything that I do?
As far as trading goes, I mean, this back to the screenshots thing. It's pretty incredible. You can screenshot a chart with very complex indicators on it, and it knows what's going on.
Right. Right.
There's no reason why a person that is trading that has no idea how to do any of this stuff, if they have an idea for a strategy from using ChatGPT with no knowledge, they could turn that into a working strategy. You definitely have to figure out how to keep track of revisions. My business partner, that's more the kind of the nerd side. I'd always rag on him because he would push an update and then something would happen. And, well, let's roll back. And he's like, I can't find it. I'm like, dude, you need to be better at this. And from me, 2 a.m. it's the running joke of, you have a file and it's final version 2. Just trying to get this stuff to work, and then it errors, and the strategy doesn't work, and then I'm trying to roll it back. So as long as you keep track of your revisions, it's pretty crazy. And anybody can go from an idea to a strategy, see how that works in the back tester in TradingView, and if you want to see how that executes on an actual broker, push that into TradingView, push that into TradersPost, and pretty easy.
So just to wrap up this AI block, because I'm just so obsessed with it after Peter showed it to me. So if you're not for Cursor, some people will go to cursor.ai and then be like, Tom, why'd you send me to this thing? It's a rabbit hole, all this coding. You said it was easy, but it's only easy for geniuses like you. I totally understand that. If that's not what you want and you don't want to deal with the let's say limitations with GPT, you can head over to NotebookLM.google.com, which is free, and you can go ahead and Trevor, have you ever used NotebookLM? Have you ever seen this?
I have not.
So basically, think of it as like ChatGPT, but instead, what you're doing is that instead of it going through all the information that's available within the training data, you are providing specific data. So you can pass the website for TradersPost. You can pass
this is Google.
The YouTube videos from our channel. So you can toss in a bunch of office hours and blueprint episodes into here for YouTube. It'll grab all the transcripts, get all that information in. You can copy and paste stuff that you're getting from other LMs. So like you're copy and pasting conversations from other things, from Grok, from ChatGPT, you're pasting in here. And then you can then ask it questions according to that content, which already is great. Okay, that's what we know that from the ChatGPTs. But you can also like deselect and select other certain things so that it's only answering from certain pieces of content. And my favorite part is that you can then generate a shoot, I should have loaded one over here, but you can actually generate a podcast. This would take too long. It'll take like 10 minutes.
We'll see.
It'll generate a podcast from the actually, I think you're playing. There's a podcast here right now. It'll generate a podcast from the content you provided. So let me see if you can hear this here. Peter, let me know if you can hear it.
No.
Okay, 1 second. Give me 2 seconds here.
This is too amazing not to hear.
Right.
So you definitely got to hear this.
So this is just from after hours for our after hour show on Friday, just how I prepare the content. This is just an example of the podcast that's being generated from the content.
All right, so get this. We're diving into gold today.
Gold.
Yeah, gold. It's ancient, but it's like still a thing.
Right.
And we've got this really interesting conversation between Tucker Carlson and Luke Gromen.
Okay.
Where they kind of go.
Okay, so the podcast is running based on the content, which, okay.
I'll go a little bit in. I want to hear the...
All right, let's go a little bit in.
And surpassing countries like Italy.
Turn the volume up.
But they're keeping it all hush-hush.
So much for transparency.
I know, right? It's like, what else are they not telling us?
It makes you wonder.
It really does. And, that lack of transparency, it creates a lot of uncertainty.
It does.
And as Groman points out, that uncertainty, it opens...
Okay, so that's great. But the cherry on top is that you can go into interactive mode and you can join in on the podcast. So they're talking and then you can join in and start, hey, tell me more about this thing. And then they'll be like, hey, that's a great question. And they'll fold that into the podcast and talk to you about it.
That's crazy.
So it's just absolutely bananas. I'm not going to do that here, Peter, because
This is a new feature that just came out. I actually haven't used it yet.
All
The
right,
new.
so get this, we're diving into gold
hear them?
today.
Gold. Huh?
Yeah, gold. It's ancient, but it's like,
All
whoa! Did someone just break the fourth wall? Let's hear it.
Yeah, I just want to know a little bit more about this gold thing. Do you think gold is better to buy than silver?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, let's unpack this.
I mean, it really depends on what you're looking for.
Exactly. And we will talk about this a little bit later.
Yeah, both have their pros and cons, but
Okay, here is a way to look
Okay,
at it.
so and then they'll go off and talk about that. It's just absolutely
That's wild.
crazy. It's crazy. So you can actually talk to our documentation, which is something we should actually just set up in NotebookLM and share it out to people and see if that's even possible. But if this is what's happening now in 6 months, it'll be like my wife will be on there talking to me. So that'll be fantastic. All right. Peter, that'll be an AI clip. Make sure you clip that out.
Okay, definitely.
All right, next question. I'm getting an error when connecting IBKR, Interactive Brokers, paper account. Please take a look at the error message screenshot below. So this is the error message that some people are getting sometimes when they hit on, when they're using Interactive Brokers. Now, Interactive Brokers is one of those platforms that, or I think it's the only platform that we're dealing with, that you cannot be logged into it and more than one location at the same time with the same user account. So what happens is that often people, especially at the beginning, they don't know this. They'll go ahead and they connect it using TradersPost, but then after that, they might be trading it manually or with some other app or whatever, and it disconnects them. And so you can reconnect in order to reconnect the connection, but it means that any trades signals that would have gone through there are now blocked. This is a limitation of Interactive Brokers. There's nothing really we can do about that. What we do recommend in our documentation on the Interactive Brokers page, you'll see more information about this, where you can create another user account that's specifically for TradersPost so that it doesn't get disconnected all the time. So if you see that message, head over to our documentation for Interactive Brokers, follow the steps, and create a new user account, and then use that as your connection on TradersPost. All right. So let's see here. Next up, if I had my own Python program that used OAuth to connect to TradeRbait and receive webhooks the same way TradersPost does, would the speed be faster than TradersPost? I noticed today it took multiple seconds to place an order with TradersPost. So this is what the person is talking about when they were taking a look at their trade. Oops, 1 second here. As they were looking at their trade execution log, they were seeing that the TradingView side that it took 1.19 seconds for that step to be completed. So this trade execution that John just added to the system allows you to see exactly how much time each step takes. So you can calculate, the distance between the signal and the broker, which people were asking for all the time. Very glad to see this information, but also all the steps internally at TradersPost, how we're breaking that down. And so you'll see that the line share here of the time is actually being taken by by TradingView because we can't do anything about the time it takes for TradingView to send us that signal. So there's nothing we can do to shorten that. So this user is asking, hey, if I were to create my own connection, would that be faster? Like I already built my own mini TradersPost that was just about connecting my strategy to the broker. Would that be faster? It could, right? TradesPost is very, very fast. But what you might gain with a little bit of extra millisecond speed for that, you might lose in efficiency, right? There's all kinds of use cases that we've gone through in order to really make our integrations robust. Like before they even launch, they're really tested significantly internally, and then they're monitored constantly. And so you might not know what problems you might run into running your own system. I've run into that myself, or I use Interactive Brokers. I connected to there, which is, I think, the worst API in the world that I've ever possibly seen. But it was a huge chore to have to think of every single step that you have to consider. And so you lose that efficiency when you're doing your own. But really here, the time difference is that if they're connected it directly, like their strategy and the connection to the broker, they're all handling it, then they don't have that TradingView delay for the webhook signal. And so yeah, I can understand that if that 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, or whatever is significant to you, which is not always the case in TradingView, but sometimes happens. I could understand why you'd want to create it locally. But you can actually, if you want, you can just do the part of the signal generation. If you code that yourself, you can do the signal generation, send the signal to us, and then let us handle the whole conversation with the broker. Then you don't have to deal with that whole nightmare part. You're just doing the signal generation part, which is actually the thing I prefer to do. I like doing testing of my strategy and backtesting on TradingView, and then with some of my other clients, go ahead and create a custom solution, and then they send the signal off. You get the best of both worlds. We handle the heavy lifting, and you handle the trade signal. Oh, that makes sense.
I've tested out other platforms that, there's obviously other platforms in the world, and at the expense of speed, I haven't found anything that is as robust as TradersPost as far as the source of truth, being able to get in and exactly see what happened and when it happened, the fill. I mean, it's once you kind of get used to how TradersPost works, I don't think there's a platform out there that gives you that visibility. You could see like an order in TradeDebate or something through another platform, but you're not going to be able to see the history and where it was generated from in the webhook and how long it took and all the different error messages. There's so much information that this is something that you don't want to be flying blind at the expense of, it went fast. Because especially with IBKR, we've had customers that have been asking for IBKR integration with futures forever. And I had one customer that had set up the whatever it's called, in his own server on like their app, and he had to run on a VPN and the whole thing. And it was just like, okay, you got this thing to work, but God forbid something happens and you have no way of turning it off or it goes rogue. It's just IBKR specifically. I don't know if that's what we were talking about here, but just in general, IBKR is super old school. But I would not want to be running anything on my own little server that your strategy doesn't exit a trade because something turned off. That is like worst case scenario.
That's the absolute nightmare. Trevor, I'll ask you this because you've been with TradesPost longer than I have. And the chain. Well, you've been using it as a as your own signal group, so you have way more experience in that vein. Over the last year, to me, the platform is like night and day different with the information that's being surfaced. When you want to debug what you're doing, when you want to dive into what's actually going on, to the point where when people message support, like, we don't have any more information really than you have access to. Whereas when I'm using another platform, if I'm using like 3Commerce or whatever, I got to contact support and hope that they give me the answer, because there's no way for me to know anything about what's going on over there. Have you found, Trevor, that the rate at which TradesPost is surfacing information for signal groups, for users, just keeps increasing, getting better, or are there really big blind spots that you're still seeing?
No, I mean the newest version of the dashboard and back end has just continued to make it easier to, obviously there's a lot of different customer bases that are using TradesPost. There's people that are just creating their own strategies and don't have any strategy subscribers, and they're just like one person doing one thing, and they don't probably look at half the stuff that I'm looking at. As a strategy owner with subscribers, I'm constantly, babysitting it, making sure that everyone's exited. If someone didn't exit or something is erring, I'm always kind of looking in and trying to see why that is. With the newest dashboard and breaking out the signals, it's a lot easier to get where I want to go, to just quickly get into a trade and go, all right, what happened on this trade? Buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. If I go to the sell and someone, erred, I can see a lot of visibility into individual users, which I think is extremely important for a strategy owner like myself. As far as I can't remember what the rest of the question was.
Blind spots.
There's been no blind. I mean, the only blind spots, there have been a handful of times where, Mike, one of our co-founders, I would, text him, hey, something happened with TradeDebate, and it was always like those super weird edge cases. Like there was one of our strategies fires on the close of an hourly candle, and it was some random 10 a.m. day, and it longed, and everybody erred. And I went in, and it was just some crazy TradeDebate error, and I'm like, what happened? And he's like, no one else experienced this. I don't know what to tell you, kind of thing. It's probably something with Tradevate. Through our investigations, it was, for some reason, the CME put like a 5-second halt around 10 a.m. for whatever the data was that day. And it was just everyone's trades aired. And that was just, it was fine, because when the hourly candle closed at 10, MNQ immediately jumped 50 points or something. So we would have won, but it was a horrible with the spread and slippage, because it was just instantaneously jumped. So it was fine. So, but those types of things of, a trade doesn't go through in Tradevate. A lot of the times, us telling our customers, it's like, you need to call Tradevate and figure it out. And with this generation, with a lot of these people, people don't want to like call anybody, but sometimes you need to call Tradevate and figure out what it is. And it's always something silly. You didn't have data, or your account, is overdue or something. But no, as far as when everything is working properly in your account and your Tradevate is authorized, or whatever broker you're using, there's so much information to figure out what is going on, and the error messages are extremely clear. So there's no reason why anyone shouldn't know.
Perfect. Awesome.
I got a question for you, Tom. Maybe you can answer this. The information that TradersPost makes available to everybody, is this a conscious decision TradersPost makes to service this information, or do other competitors hide it on purpose?
I don't know what other competitors are why they're doing it. I know the way that John and Mike think is that, let's say a support ticket comes in and one or two people complain about a thing or more. They're like, okay, how do we just solve that so that they have the information necessary in order to do that? So if it's about fixing the problem, they'll just go ahead and fix it. I mean, we've all seen John at 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I pushed out the changes for this thing. Okay, great. You're just going to fix the problem. But then sometimes the problem is just about like user information. Like, they need to know how long the trade signal takes to come from the broker. Okay, let's build the whole system for that. Oh, they need a new dashboard to be able to surface how subscribers are connected to a strategy. Okay, let's do that. What they're doing right now, building out this whole analytics suite so that people can analyze the performance of their strategies and rely on us a little bit more as a tool set, utility tool set for that. Great. So they're always like looking at ways of how do we make the life of the user better, and then these are the features that show up. Why these things don't show up on other platforms, I can't tell you, but it's not like they have to have some other modus operandi if it's not that, because I was using those other platforms before, and I'm like, why can't I figure this out? Why can't I get to this piece of information? And you're just in support constantly trying to figure it out. So maybe that's why. All right, so let's end here with just a couple of Reddit posts. I thought this was pretty interesting that showed up. I'm always, when we get our support tickets, when we get these messages on YouTube or whatever, everyone's aware of TradersPost. So you go on Reddit and it's like people don't know that it exists. It's like talking to people who don't know that crypto's a thing. So this is one question that someone had. A neural network AI trading bot. Where do I begin? I'm interested in creating a neural network AI trading bot that can execute trades for me. The idea of using a neural network bot to trade for me is quite interesting to me, but I honestly have no idea where to begin learning how to build such a bot in order to actually pull this off. So this person's just talking about, hey, they want to do AI trading. So I wanted to bring up here we did a video on Blueprint. I'm on Blueprint. I don't know if anyone realized that. I'm on Blueprint with
yeah, we've heard.
And there's a tool called TrendSpider, like a charting platform called TrendSpider, and they have an AI strategy builder in there. You can look at that video to see a walkthrough of it if you don't have a TrendSpider account, or if you have one, you could go check it out. And it's really cool. They have all these different types of AI. I mean, AI is a blanket term. These are machine learning models. And if you ever wanted to dive in and be like, hey, what model should I even take a look at? What are the weightings and parameters I should consider? What's the vernacular? It gives you a great starting point in order to figure out how to dive into it. So it's one of those things if you just type in AI bot into the Google and try to figure out over there, you're never going to figure out where to go. But if you start from an end product like what you see at TrendSpider, you can work your way backwards to see, one, is this something you're interested in, and two, like, what does it actually take in order to generate an AI bot? Pretty interesting.
I wish that TrendSpider wasn't so expensive compared to TradingView. It's just every time I see the ads, I'm just like, oh, TrendSpider, I completely forgot. That'd be so great for back testing and testing. and then I go and it's just it is not cheap.
It's for me it's a little painful to which is I'm glad that we have access to it through TradesPost, but it is pretty expensive. It works very well for the types of things that it does, but there's a reason TradingView is the big dog. It's you can get so much for free.
Tom, you said this is in a blueprint. You talked about this in a blueprint episode. Do you know the name of that episode? Or
It's called AI Bot, I believe it is. AI Bot.
I remember that one. That was a good one.
Yeah. All right. Next up here, what programming language is the easiest to use for automated trading? I'm sorry if this has been asked before, but I'm still a bit confused as to what I need to do to be able to create an automated trading bot that is able to do the following. Gives a little bit of background that they have some programming background, and they say now to automated trading itself, these are the things that I need to be able to code easily. I'll be opening up a prop firm account first to test things out. How do I connect my own bot to MT4 or an actual broker platform if this turns out successful? I need to be able to easily read levels, scale in and out of taking a trade management, reference other charts such as SPY. The bot needs to be able to hold off trading before a predetermined time, and so on and so forth. Well, buddy, you're talking about the 1-2 punch of TradingView and TradersPost, right? That's what it is. People don't necessarily realize with TradersPost you can connect to many different prop firms, right? I didn't know this when I started. I didn't know this a year after I started. That prop firm accounts you could connect to on a TradesPost. So basically, if the prop firm account that you're dealing with uses a broker that is supported by our platform, there's a good chance that you can then automatically trade with it, assuming that the terms and conditions of the platform allow you to automate to trade automatically. So if you were to set up with TradingView to get your signals, or whatever platform you want to do to get your signals, and then send that over to TradersPost, we would do a bunch of the heavy lifting in order to manage all this. It's really quite interesting. I think we could actually do a series of episodes specifically geared towards prop firms, because one, I want people to know that, and two, I want Peter to start trading prop firms. So we're
threatening me with a good time.
Have you ever given prop firm accounts a try, Trevor?
I don't want to say out loud at the chance of jinxing myself.
Sure.
But I have a $5,000 payout for Topstep. If I can 2 more days of $200, and I'll
there we
so
go.
I love, like, Mike and I we talk for an hour about prop firms and just the idea of them, and what's awesome just in general is it's super, you're capping your risk at however much the evals cost, however much the funded accounts cost. Once you figure out that the dollar amount doesn't matter, 50K, 100K, 150K, it's just about the drawdown and the rules. Topstep is great because there's no trailing drawdown. So if you were like, okay, I bought this, or I figured out this strategy, it works on this paper account, I want to run it on something, but I want it to be real, but I don't want it to be like my actual real money. Passing a combine on Topstep, for example, getting an express account, hook it up through TradeView. The only downside is that there's like $1,000 daily loss max. So if your strategy kind of like swings aggressively, you'll get stopped out for the day. But yeah, I think that prop is kind of the perfect middle ground between paper trading and using your own account for a strategy that you're confident with, because that's the holy grail, is going, hey, I can hook this thing up, it's running 24/7. If I get a $5,000 payout on something, that's a huge win. If it blows, whatever, I'm out $200. So prop, you just have to make sure that it's a broker that is compatible with TradersPost, for example. So as long as the prop firms use TradeView or have an option to use TradeView, then you can use a prop firm.
What I love about prop firms is that if I'm trading my own money, my own account, I seem to have no emotional issue of it going to zero. I'm fine with it. I'll let that account go to zero. Okay, great. And then I'll put more money in later on. But with the prop firm account, you're not at zero, right? Because you have to start at the challenges. You have to pass the challenge, 1 or 2 challenges, or the ones that I deal with, challenges before you get to your account. And so failing feels like going negative, and I have to like start again to prove myself. And so I try a little bit harder. I don't know what it is. I have this feeling of I feel better, this relief, once my account gets liquidated, but not if my challenge account.
You're broken inside,
I'm broken.
Tom. You're broken.
Put my tails back. I'm broken.
Seriously.
That's why I program. I trade just for content. Just for content, folks.
That's why
I know what
you
the
need Mike.
limitations are.
Hey, by the way, there's a question in the chat. Did you see it?
No. Let's
Can I
see.
get a
What
try
are
with
the top
TradersPost?
3 Holy
Yes.
Grail strategies? John. Good.
You
You
can find out about that.
The holy one would be one that works on the 5-second time frame and just takes rapid fire trades
Every trade.
and has no slippage. There's no slippage, and it works
I saw one like
how it
that
works in the back
today.
test. Yeah.
I saw one today where someone had open and closed trades, multiple ones on every candle in the chart. I thought it was broken. I was like, how do you think it was 34,000 trades that were taken over the history of the thing over a 3-day period. Brutal. Holy Grail is buy crypto all the time. If it dips, buy more crypto. If you're at the all-time highs, buy more crypto. There's your 3 strategies.
No apologies necessary, John. It wouldn't be in office hours if someone didn't ask about Holy Grail strategies.
And Mike's asking if you can get a job at TradersPost. Mike, I think we're full up.
Yeah.
Actually, we're looking to downsize a little bit over here. I don't know. Oh, great. All right. All right. One more here. All right, setting up a Coinbase auto trading bot with PineScript TradingView. Hey everyone, I'm trying to set up Coinbase account to automatically trade crypto, but I haven't paid for any subscriptions yet. I've been doing research and came across 3 commas and TradingView Pro. Bleh, 3 commas. Boo, 3 commas. Which is basically what I want to create. For what I've seen, it looks like I need TradingView Pro to use webhooks, which I don't mind buying, but then I found some GitHub projects that offer free alternatives for getting TradingView webhooks. My goal is to set up a bot locally on Google Cloud that will auto-trade a few big coins using the PineScript indicator I created. Any advice or tips would be super useful. I'll let you know if I need anything else along the way. Put any ideas inside of the comments. So I responded to this person with 2 things. 1, you do not need a pro level account on TradingView to have access to webhooks. Webhooks is a feature I believe is not available on the free account, but I believe anything on from Essential and up, you have access to webhooks. It's just how many alerts you can send and what period of time, some of the how long those webhooks can last for. But you don't need the pro account. I'm just mentioning that because the TradingView Pro pricing, the TradingView pricing is pretty steep at the pro levels. Let me just pull that up here real quick. And so on the professional plans, you're looking at $1,200 per year or $2,400 per year for the pro plans. But on the non-professional plans, far more reasonable for most people, and you have webhook access over here. So anything from the essential plan up, you have webhook access. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I mean, you're going to see the recurrent theme constantly, which is TradersPost. All right, connect your webhooks to TradersPost. When are you to get it through your head that why would you want to go to a uni platform like 3Commerce that only does cryptocurrencies and not even all of the exchanges or all the coins and all that? There's all kinds of limitations. It would take me all day to talk about the limitations of 3Commerce. TradersPost, you get crypto and futures and stocks and options. You can grow with TradersPost. You can start with a little bit of strategy you have and move on to becoming a big shot like Trevor and run your own signal group. Okay, why you want to start with a small platform like 3Commerce? It doesn't make any sense.
Why don't you just marry TradersPost, Tom?
I try. She's taken. All right, and the last one over here is no, that was it. Okay, so that's it, folks. Thank you very much for the questions and feedback from the last week. If you have any questions in the future, please feel free to post them in the YouTube comments, post them on Discord, message us on Twitter, send us a support ticket. Obviously, we'll answer you right away with the information that you need. But if it can also help other people, we'll make sure to share it on office hours. That's why we're here. We want to make your trading better and better and better, and we're all here for it. We'll be back here next Tuesday at 3 o'clock to answer more of your questions. But until then, we all wish you happy trading. Thanks, folks.
Thanks, everyone.